Look, the ambiance has suddenly changed. There's a difference between having wrestling or a white light in the background and having this HDR file here. There's really an incredible difference in depth and realism, guys. That's why we need to do all of these. Look, normally, when I go into the Vray assets section over here, you can see that in the settings part, the value is 1. Do you see? That's normally the light value of the HDR intensity, guys. Let's say I set it to 10. I'll exaggerate a bit so we can see the light intensity here. Now, we have this setting in Vray. If we don't want to render everything, look, there's regular here, which means I can render just the part I want. When you click on this and mark the part I want as a square, and then press the render button, it renders that part. Friends, there is a beautiful method, because it is enough to put it here, rather than rendering the whole thing. Look, I set the value here to 10. The light intensity here has created a difference between the light intensity outside and the sunlight. And the difference created has ensured the balance. So it ensured the balance in terms of realism, because the amount of sunlight coming in is similar to the amount of sunlight outside, guys. What happened? Look, we've automatically taken care of it outside. There's something here that's bothering me, guys. Over here, the sun being very soft and sharp. Did you see? Look, let's bring it here. Let's take a render like this. Open this up. Look over here. My render over there is still going. Excuse me. That's why I'm trying to get it. I just couldn't get it. Look, I took it like this. We're going to look at this part. Now, I just paused the render. In the settings section, look at the sunlight part. In the sunlight section. Look, I have a multiplier value here, guys. The shadow of the sun. It looks like 1. When it looks like 1, it means that the intensity of the sun's light is very sharp. Look how sharp it is, guys. Do you see? Very sharp. Look, it's coming out very sharp here too. I don't want it to be this sharp. This much sharpness. Actually, this level of softness doesn't match the softness level of our image. Look, I took the multiplier value for you. I suddenly made it 10, guys. Then I did it. My sun value is at 1. If you want, you can lower this too. Let's lower the value to 0.8 with the sun. Now, look, now this is 1. When I did it, this way it was like this. When I made it 10, we can't see the value here, but we will see the effect here. Look, guys, I press the render button. The sun value here will now become softer. These are all fine details. And every nuance I make, did you see it? The sunlight fell so naturally. Look, what does this mean, guys? The softness of the sunlight increases its effect on the materials and textures. It will cause us to show a higher quality texture, meaning a higher quality texture will appear in the render. Guys, that's why, look, a subtle detail completely changed this area. That's why these are very, very important topics. Look, this part is done too. It came in a very soft way. This also came out soft. This part here will also come out soft. Guys, in this part here, it will come out soft. It's really a nice method. It's a nice event. If I need to repeat it, from the light menu over there, sunlight, I set the sunlight to 0.8. I lowered the sunlight intensity. I left the multiple value at 10, guys. My shadow has been resolved this way. We resolved it by giving a value of 10 to the background part back there. It really became a very simple and easy thing, and let's get a big render from this. If you want, let's see, guys. Now, I've come to the settings section. I switched to 1920x1080. I switched to normal render by turning this off from the frame buffer section. And I turned off progressive render in the settings and pressed the render button. Let's see what our result will be. I pulled the scene back a bit more and pressed the render button. Guys, I pulled back a bit more to see the sunlight effect in the scene. My scene, and this is how it takes the render. When the render is finished, I will share the final result with you guys. Yes, friends, as we can see, the soft state of the sun in our light operation gave us a really soft image. Of course, in the upcoming sections, since we will be solving the textures and other parts. This way, we will achieve a better quality render. We're going to remove the wall texture here